Hello, and welcome back to the 6th Street Underground, a Zenless Zone Zero fan cast discussing all things Miyabi, ZZZ. As always, I'm your host, Eric, and I'm joined by my ever wonderful co-host, Brian. Say hi, Brian.
Miyabi!
It's Miyabi!
Hello, Eric.
Hi, Brian. Dude, I've wanted to talk to you about Miyabi for as long as Miyabi has been in our hands.
So strong. So cool.
Oh my God. Jeez.
Literally and figuratively.
If we think about our podcast in eras, we've left the Jane era where everything kind of defaults back to like, but Jane Dodo?
Yeah, Jane Doe.
And now I think we're in the have you seen Miyabi era of by golly, the damage is big and the AoE is big.
It's like you said, it was expected that she's the first Void Hunter. So she's the first super OP class designated. And they went all out on her. And like I said, I thought I don't even know what I thought. She looked cool, and then you play her and you can just hit every corner of an arena with her moves. Yeah.
I remember I texted you at one point and you said like, I haven't done X, but I have done my Shiyu defense for the cycle. And like, she just cleans house. So I did my Shiyu defense today, and like, she just cleans house, man.
Yeah. Oh, it's just it's just so much damage. The frostburn effect and everything that she puts.
Yeah.
I mean, it's wild. She's fun to play.
Like, she's fun to play. She's still like I think what it kind of shows us is like a lot of the times when we look at power levels in games like this, we think about raw DPS potential, but what Miyabi highlights or is two things is like AoE actually does matter. And the fact that we don't really have reliable grouping yet is like one of the things I think sets her off so far above the rest of the pack, right? Like if we had I'm not going to make a Genshin reference. I'm going to save that for later. If we had some kind of grouper that could like pull enemies together.
Ooh, or even a flounder.
Like a flounder or like a sturgeon, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Prepare for sturgeon.
Oh, I mean, we kind of do have sturgeon because we have Caesar.
We do.
That's a motorcycle event reference.
Man, I'm glad you explained that because I was just going to nod my head and roll with it.
I could tell when you just completely glazed over that. You said, yeah, you made a reference to something I don't know about. We'll just keep trucking.
We have like 35 people who listen. One of them was like, I get it. And they were pointing at the their podcatcher. Because we have like Nicole groups a little bit, but we don't have anyone who like and Caesar, if you hold her attack, she can pull people.
You have Qingyi. Qingyi's about it.
She does kind of have a vacuum.
Well, yeah, she definitely has a good vacuum.
Yeah.
But the downside to her vacuum is it's not a quick one. It's not like something that sucks them in immediately. It's a prolonged one that slowly brings them in. So against like Mook, and when all you have are the little Mooks, it's fine. But if you ever have one of the bigger monsters that ignores it, it becomes such a danger because you have to constantly dodge out of it. So it's not like a very...
It's not consistent. It's not quick. So like one like that really showed itself in Shiyu defense because even being able to skip the first 3 floors and starting at floor 4, that first wave or two of like 6 or 7 mooks, like that just goes so much. Like the boss killing's about the same between the two teams for me right now, but like getting through that first wave is so much faster.
Oh yeah.
When like you can use one EX skill and then she's at full charge and you do her whole charge attack and it just clears the screen and you're instantly fighting the big boss and you're actually doing your rotations and cycling and doing all of that. And I think what this also sets us up for is down the line when we do have a character who gets announced that does have like a push EX skill, group all the enemies to one spot ability, we're probably going to be like, this is legit. like that's going to be a hype point for us, I feel, at least for me, just because of like how powerful spacing and enemy management is in this game. I think we got like really deep into Miyabi mechanics before we talked about Miyabi.
She's so small.
She's small. She got big ears. She does the cool anime like swing my sword and then the effect comes through.
Oh yeah. No, it's Her and Yanagi share the same level of just anime action of they do the two different ones. Yanagi has hers, especially when you do the dodge counter, where she does all those slashes, steps away, and then the monster explodes behind her.
The dodge counter slow walk that you're forced to watch.
Oh,
we haven't talked about
every time.
It's so cool.
Yeah, and then Miyabi has her 10,000 cuts of pain. And then she
I've already sheathed my sword.
Clicks her sword back into place, and then more explosions happen. So both of them are just so much fun and over the top. And
and like what I'm appreciating about Miyabi is the more I play with her. One, I do want to talk a little bit about gearing her because gearing her is tricky. But there's still like room for more nuanced play with her because so many of her animations happen after the effect of the thing. It promotes like swapping during like animation canceling by swapping to new characters. So like you can do her max level charged attack and it does the big thing, but then like the second like follow up slashes it does, swap out, and like you can already be switching to Yanagi to do her dash, or you could be switching to Seth to set back up a shield while that goes through. And so it's still like, even though she is like strong, there's still some mechanical spaces to play in with her that I'm really enjoying. I mean, like the only thing, and maybe Brian, you can tell me this because maybe I just misread it or something. Sometimes when I dodge, it's a fancy spectral long dodge.
Yes.
What's the trigger for that?
So for me, it's sometimes when I dodge, it does that.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's as far as I'm not entirely sure if maybe it's like a perfect dodge versus just a dodge or what, because I've definitely had that too where you do that dodge and you just get out of there, and then there's other times where you have the regular dodge.
It's got to be something to do with enemies being nearby when you use it. In the low key in the background today, I'm gonna see if I can figure this out while we're talking because I feel like that would be a better thing for our podcast to do. Hey everybody, this is future Eric here, listening back over the conversation past Eric and Brian were having. I wanted to jump in real quick to highlight the special dash that we talked about for Miyabi is from holding the dodge dash button. Like it's not a special trigger or anything. It's not dependent on enemies being there. It is literally just holding down the button. I would say that it's pretty sensitive, I think, because it was triggering even if we weren't deliberately holding down the button. But that's what it is. Back to Eric and Brian. But I did want to talk real quick. So like Miyabi's an anomaly, but she's not necessarily built like a normal anomaly character. In the past, we've talked a lot about anomaly characters and how they don't care about crit rate or crit damage. They care about anomaly. They care about AP.
Yes.
And then anomaly mastery.
Miyabi is a crit fiend.
She wants crit. She breaks like most of the rules. It pretty much, she's a DPS character and everything but name. Just because like that's...
Yeah, because you do build her almost like a hybrid because you want a lot of crit on her, but then obviously you still want all the other stuff that comes with it. You want her anomaly damage type and, you know, everything else. I saw some people online talking about how she falls off a little bit if you don't get her W engine.
Yes, I wanted to talk about the W engine.
Yeah, because the W engine I think it just straight up gives her like 50% more either crit rate or crit damage.
It is, I actually have that pulled up as well. It gives both because it's the only anomaly engine we have right now where its leveling up stat is crit rate. But then it also gives 50% bonus crit damage flat out. And it gives up to, and this is like base refinement. We're not going to like an S5 weapon. It also gives 40% increased ice damage.
Yeah,
which is calculated based on like using her EX skill, which you'll be using, or having anyone in your squad apply an attribute anomaly, which is going to happen.
Yes, so it is definitely absolutely nuts with her W engine. Yeah. With a regular one, she's just really, really, really good instead of really, 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 really good.
And that's a flat 24% crit rate. Gearing her is tricky because like her second best weapon is the Fusion Compiler. That's Grace's signature weapon. So like either you got lucky and pulled it or you bought it out of the store. And then the next one below that would be like the Kissy Face Electro Lip Gloss from the Battle Pass, which again, you'll note the top 3 weapons for her are all either you paid some money or you got lucky. And then you'll also note that if you've been playing Anomalies in Zone Zero, which we've all been playing for a little while, someone's already probably using Electro Lip Gloss.
Yes.
And so there really is a deficit. And like there's numbers here. I'm pulling these numbers from Pridewin, whatever it's called. Pridewin. Between Hailstorm Shrine, which is her W engine, and Fusion Compiler, which is still an S rank engine, but is her second best, there's like a over 20% difference in terms of like damage output. But I think a lot of that is due to the fact that she wants to be like maximizing her potential. You want to have Miyabi with at least 68% crit rate, because 68% plus the 12% from wearing her disk drive set, which is the new one that came out with her. We're not going to talk about it too much. Build the Branch and Blade Song set gives her 80% crit rate, which gives her the maximum she can get in her crit rate to anomaly proficiency crossover, like that skill. It is really dang hard to get to 68% crit rate if your W engine does not give crit rate. It's doable, but you're wearing a crit rate disc 4 and you've got a lot of crit rate rolls.
Yeah, you kind of start having to sacrifice the other stats you do want with her because you're having to make up for missing the W engine.
Like crit damage. So you've got all this crit rate, but now your crits hit like wet noodles. This is your perspective on this could differ, right? It could be you going, you know what? The game is still young. We don't have that many W engines out yet. This will be rectified in time. It's not a big deal. Or you're going, this is BS. They've designed a character that's only good if you get her W engine. I am here to tell you that I played a bunch with her using Fusion Compiler instead. I used a crit rate disc 4 for a while and did not have quite 68. She still shreds. I was able to, we'll talk about it in a second, the Deadly Assault. I was able to do Deadly Assault with a Miyabi wearing Fusion Compiler. No problem. Now, I did get insanely jealous of Brian when he sent me a picture of his Hailstorm Shrine, and within 48 hours, I had rolled for my own. But that's different. Like, I did get one. So, like, transparency where it is, she is very playable without her W engine. But if you're like, let me really maximize this, or you don't like playing the disk drive roulette, it's going to be very challenging to gear her out in a way that feels, scare quotes, like sufficient without either using her W engine or sacrificing something else. Brian, I'm in the problem right now where I had a really good crit rate disc 4.
Yeah.
And now that I've got her weapon on her, I don't need a crit rate disc 4. I need a crit damage disc 4. But I don't have enough other crit rate rolls on my other gear. I'm like 2 rolls short of being at 68%. So now I'm just like fishing for pieces to try to mix and match to get to that 68%. And there's as much damage as I can possibly stack. She also likes attack percent. She also likes like anomaly proficiency is not going to be wasted on her, but it's way lower down the priority chain than getting crit rate and then crit damage.
I'm going to be honest. I just immediately run to Bardic Needle and expend all of my resources building her a custom set.
I did that as well, but it's all substats now. So
Once you get to the sub, I am nowhere at the point. I am still raising. I am now working on raising my third team, especially with Deadly Assault coming out. So I am still. I'm close to Rena being done.
Yeah.
And now I have to get my third team. So I am nowhere close to being at the point where I can I'm willing to spend the time and effort to get perfect substats for Miyabi when everything else is so good that I'm eking out that extra 5% of incredible damage is not worth the time and effort when I have so many other people that need to even be able to get up to surviving Deadly Assault.
For sure. Because you're running, I mean, you mentioned Rina. We could talk briefly. Miyabi plays well with a number of characters.
Yes.
I mean, like the one that we're always going to mention is Yanagi, because Miyabi and Yanagi do have that symbiotic. Yanagi can trigger Disorder, which bumps up Miyabi, and then usually by the time Miyabi has used her charged attack, my Yanagi has enough to do a charged EX.
Yeah, Miyabi and Yanagi, they're doing what everyone knew they did or would do. They just feed off each other, and Rina just shows up. I'll throw out her EX if I have it. Otherwise, I'll throw out her puppets, and then I'll switch back and forth between the two.
So what does, like, I don't have Rina yet. More likely she's going to be my 300 redeem if I don't get her before then. What does Rina do on that team? Is it just like you swap to her when she has her EX special?
So
what's the cycle look like?
So all right, I have to pull her up real quick, so we're just going to cut this bit out.
Okay, while you pull that up, I'll say I've run Miyabi with Caesar, and I've run Miyabi with Seth. Caesar does what Caesar does. You put on your shield, and as long as you don't get hit too much, you don't have to look at Caesar again for a while. And the shield, it's just free attack, so that works out nice. I've run her with Seth, and I don't hate Miyabi, Yanagi, and Seth. I think I'm probably sacrificing some damage in exchange for a shield, but he doesn't, like, it's not perfect, but I know we're going to get more supports down the road that are going to be able to kind of universally just slot into teams, and so I'm kind of willing to run Miyabi, Yanagi, and either Caesar or Seth, or maybe even Lucy for now. Just because, like, the shield is nice and it lets you be a little bit more brazen with your charged attacks. Are you still looking things up? Because I can talk about Seth for a second.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Go for it.
I knew what Rina's passive did. I just didn't remember the exact stat. So what it is so basically when she attacks, she'll throw out her two little buddies, Drusilla and Anastella. Yeah. And while they're on the field, they increase everyone's pen ratio by 25% of Rina's total, plus 12% up to a max of 30. So essentially gives them up to an additional 30% pen ratio. And then the sweet spot you really want is what really makes Rina start shining is where you get her Mindscape 1, which I just did, where they stay out for an additional 5.5 seconds.
Okay.
Because before they would stay out for a little bit, but not that long.
It's like 6 seconds, right? Like, it's really short.
Yeah, so it was really short, so it was tricky to keep it as an uptime. So it was like, while it was there, it was nice, but it wasn't. But now having it up to like a 12 second buff, increasing your pen ratio of these two incredible damage dealers.
Okay, that's but in 12 seconds, you've burned through Miyabi's EX skill, her ult, maybe you've used her full charge, and you've popped out Yanagi's effects again.
Yeah.
That seems like a really fun cycle. That sounds really cool.
Yeah, no, it's nice. I'll switch back and forth between those two.
Yeah.
And then also, her EX is nice because you activate it and then it triggers a quick assist and all that. But that's the big thing that makes Rina a good support character, is she just has a buff that you only have to switch to her every 12 seconds. To throw an attack, plop them back out, and then switch over again.
You're not even having to worry about like energy management for her, because you don't need her skill up. You just need to do a attack.
Yes, you literally just
stop again.
You show up, you're like, go kill that guy, and they say, yes, boss.
Now I do know that Miyabi, and we knew Lighter was setting us up for Miyabi when they included a ice buffing part to his kit. There is like this really busted Lighter Lucy combo for Miyabi. Lucy, and also to a lesser extent Sukaku, also work as pretty solid third party members, just because they have flat team wide buffs, especially if you have like a full Mindscape Lucy. The element's not helping, but she's really only there to give just attack to the whole team. Sukaku as well, but Sukaku takes a lot of time on stage to get there. And then there's, you could run Miyabi with Bernice. You can run Miyabi with Nicole's also out there because Nicole's also just like a universal buffer.
Yeah. But right now, my Bernice and Caesar are firmly back in the Jane Doe meta.
I like the Bernice, Caesar, Jane Doe squad a lot. I like being able to be incredibly reckless and just sit there and eat hits because I've got 3 dodges and a Caesar shield and just apply. Like that team feels really, really good to me. And the Miyabi Yanagi core feels really good to me that I'm okay with waiting until I happen to also get a Mindscape 1 arena or until they do. Like Astra Yao might be really good for Astra Yao's officially been announced. So like she might be really good as a support for Yanagi and Miyabi because those two just want to be on the field anyway. So anybody who can support them with that is going to be solid. Hey everybody, me again. One of the things that we neglected to talk about that I think probably should be highlighted at least a little bit, there is some built-in parry windows to Miyabi's kit as well, just like with Yanagi, where if you use her skill at the right time, it works as a parry. If you time the animation, like the last bit of the animation in Miyabi's 4th attack, and then most of her 5th attack has like this built-in parry window into it. It's a pretty generous window, but a little bit harder to time than just hit triangle when an enemy attacks because it is deeper in her kit. It does make it so that when you are stringing together those 3rd, 4th, and 5th attacks, which are the ones that have ice infusion in them, you are more likely to be able to get through that string because if you get attacked during that, you can parry. You could definitely time it right, but chances are if you're me or Brian, you're probably just getting lucky when it happens, and it's not necessarily like a fully planned thing. Anyways, just wanted to jump in and share that information. Back to you guys. There's a lot of building around Miyabi, like the team-wide, you have some flexibility. If you can get her stats kind of figured out, you're good to go. And like even poor, like half built and wearing like just whatever, the raw amount of damage, the number of mechanics baked into her kit, and as we said at the beginning, the AoE for Miyabi makes her a character that's very hard to skip this patch.
Which is good news because she is going to be there for a long time. So
you have a long time of staring at it going like, I don't want to roll for the W engine. It's still there.
Yeah, the way they've done 1.4 is there should be no one who's not able to at least get Miyabi if they want. There will be more than enough polychromes and everything that you will at least be able to get her on pity. And then you can use that to decide if you want to roll more for her or wait until Astra, Yao, and Evelyn come out.
And Evelyn. Now, I will say, like, if you are not jazzed about Miyabi, reruns will eventually start happening. I guarantee it. And a character like Miyabi, who for a lot of people was why they started playing this game, she will be rerun. And so, like, if you're like, yeah, she seems cool, but I really like Evelyn, or I really like Astra Yao, or I really like the idols, I'm just gonna save up all my stuff for that. Hey, you're good, like for sure. But if you're interested in her, she's gonna be here for a while. There's new areas like Port Elpis,
which Port Elpis is story related, so we're not gonna really talk about that.
We'll save that for a second. Except that there is trash can guy, so there's like free stuff doing that.
There's a trash can and there's a Mew Mew.
Yeah,
but I don't even know if you won't unlock them until you get to that part in the story anyway. I don't think.
Yeah, you have to do it narrative.
But also Bang Boo versus Ethereal Tower Defense is in Reverb Arena 2.
I have not. So let's talk about that before we talk about the new permanent game modes because I like it a lot. I have not done today's levels yet. But I want to hear your thoughts, Brian. How do you feel about Bang Boo versus Ethereal Tower Defense game?
So this one, I feel like they know this one they made it harder than other ones. Because all you have to do is survive with a single life to get full credit. There is no S rank, A rank. Because
there is a stamp that says perfect if you don't lose any hearts.
Yes, but that doesn't get you anything.
It doesn't get you anything. Does that mean I haven't perfected the first 2 days worth of things? No, I have, but it doesn't get you anything.
Because today's was really hard.
Tough? Okay.
It's also one of those where it's your typical tower defense, where you're not going to do it right the first time. You might survive, but you're not going to do it right because you don't know which enemies, when they're showing, which path they're taking, everything. So if you really wanted to do, I'm sure you could going back a second time. But there were one or two where they started and I said, oh, I'm really glad that only 5 to 7 of them got through instead of all of them.
I would say like for the first 2 days, the penultimate level was when I struggled with the most. I went back and redid those after unlocking what I got from the next level to see if I could perfect it after like having everything available to me. It's not easy. It's not necessarily super hard, but it's not easy. And what I like about it that was kind of a turnoff for me, imagine, Brian, if there was an entire gacha game that this was the core mechanic.
I couldn't imagine.
That I played for a long time, but then I quit at some point because the narrative was interesting.
James Joycean.
No, I like Joyce. Walk it back. I'd rather read Ulysses again. It's very easy to restart. So like there have been a couple of times where I'm like, oh, I get it now. Let me just hit the reset button. Try this again. I like the variety of Bang Boo. I like that the levels aren't just a complete like. The first day I was like, oh, you just put sharks everywhere and you wait and you win. Like there is some like thought to it and it's fun and it's cute and I like the little narrative around it. I like that we have this recurring Bang Boo trainer who's just...
Yes, I like that they are having these reoccurring characters for these random events that are...
It's cute.
But yeah, no, I've enjoyed this. It's a fun little tower defense game.
I'd love to see it added to... and we said this about the motorcycle game for the previous narrative, but I would love to see this added to the arcade and like expanded upon.
This one feels more fleshed out.
They put a lot of energy into
the motorcycle game felt like it almost felt like they wanted to do a lot more with it because it only showed up the one time. It was relatively easy unless you were going for one or two of the secret achievements. But that was it. This one feels definitely like they could put it into the arcade if they wanted to, or have it be a reoccurring little mini event.
I like it. I'll see how I feel about the end of it once I've finished it, but it's fun. We did get some new like permanent game modes as well.
Deadly Shadows, Lost Assault.
Have you been able to do Shadows? Have you done Shadows Lost or Deadly Assault yet?
Yes, I have done both.
Okay, cool. So let's talk about Deadly Assault first, actually. I know that's backwards for our notes. But how do you feel about Deadly Assault, man?
It is way harder than I thought it was going to be.
It super is.
I assumed because I had pulled for everyone and I had good teams that I was going to be able to just go in there and completely stomp them.
Yeah.
And I did with Miyabi. Which,
yeah.
So, yeah.
Shocking.
Yeah, Miyabi, considering that both Miyabi and Yanagi have their W engines and they're leveled up and I've put all my time and money resources, they absolutely destroyed them. But the second boss that I went with my Jane Doe team, I struggled to get the 3-star.
Oh, really? They are... One, I love being rewarded for mechanics over just speed. I was in a similar boat. I was able to, because my Jane team, my Jane is stacked, and then I do have Bernice's Wenjin on that team.
Yes.
I was able to get 6-star for the first 2 bosses with a little bit of wiggle room. But I had the same thought. I was like, okay, cool. I've played a lot of this game. I've had Ellen since beginning. I've got the Ellen team. Let's knock out this 3rd boss. It's even weak to ice. And dude,
the marionettes are the hardest one.
1 star.
They're
brutal. I was like, I'm not trying this again. I'll take it. 7's good for now. Cut it. Marionette is tough. There's new. I did not think they would add new animations and new attacks to these enemies.
Yes, yeah,
Like,
all of
it's
them
not just-
are different than their actual.
They're not souped
boss, what do you call it? The Notorious Hunt version.
Yeah, the Notorious Hunt version. Like, the Notorious Hunt version is baby mode. And especially for Marionette. Marionette was like, I was going, man, I should have brought Caesar to this fight. Because I am just, more practice will fix this. But like, I was just eating hits left and right. I actually had to worry about my health.
Yeah.
Like,
what I do like about them is they cut out all of the they don't have the stage change animations and everything. So it is just from the time you go in there until the time you're done. It is nonstop fighting. Like you said, there are some new animations and they are level 70, so they will hit like a truck. You cannot just ignore them and just kind of wail on them like you can with the Notorious Hunt counterparts where, you can kind of ignore their mechanics
sub 3 minute.
And just curb stomp them.
Well, like what is also nice is like they're a really good example of the double-edged sword of ZZZ's combat, and a reminder that at the very root of ZZZ is the fighting game mentality, because they are attacking really, really fast, which means if you aren't hitting your parries and counters and mechanics, you get bodied. But if you are hitting your parries and counters and mechanics, not only are you like staying alive, but you're getting points towards that total because it also rewards mechanics. And so like, I really like this direction for endgame where no one's going to do Deadly Assault and go, this game's for babies, it's too easy, and the things just sit there and let you hit them. That's not happening.
Yeah.
And so it really does reward strong mechanic play and managing your dodge cooldown and managing your number of assist points that you have and like actually capitalizing on damage windows, at least like in my experience on Marionette, not having a big chunky shield on the character or a Jane to just dodge everything. Like it really does feel like there is now more room for me as a player to grow, but I'm not missing anything by not being perfect yet. Like I could still get 6 stars. I still got the polys for the cycle. But I'm excited to jump in there again and try to get 9 stars and try to, like, to your point, as you said earlier, like build that third team out. I don't know if I'm going to until I get like a new character. I'd rather just kind of hone in on the 2 that I have, but I'm rambling, but like, I do think it's a really great direction for ZZZ Endgame of showcasing like how relentless some of these enemies can be and how much more nuanced the combat is than people thought when they were playing through the prologue a couple months ago. Other endgame we got was Shadows Lost, which is our new version of Hollow Zero. I feel like the devs are like every 2 weeks have to make a new version of Hollow Zero.
Yes, this comes off of them introducing the Blitz mode, and instead it is completely new. It is essentially Slay the Spire in ZZZ.
It is. They have taken the the Slay the Spire roguelike map and been like, no, we can put our game into it.
Which it honestly kind of just feels like them fine-tuning Blitz mode. Whereas Blitz mode was just you running from one spot to another, killing stuff, and then you'd get random. This one, it gives you a little more control. More similar to how if you did the TV mode of Hollow Zero instead of just doing the Blitz mode where you had a little more control in choosing what you were doing and everything. So this one, you can look at the map and you can see which path you want. So if you want to get more attack Rizonia, or if you want to do some of the little random encounters, you just kind of get a little more choice. And then you get your special weapon that affects one party member and you level it up throughout. And if you're like me, one of the times you accidentally do this wombo combo where every time you get hit and every time you get a crit, you go into berserk mode. So then it started becoming a race against the clock because I was doing insane damage, but I was also just dying because I was running Yanagi, Miyabi, and Rina. So I had no shield, no recovery. I had all gas, no brake.
I did that today, but I had the Miyabi effect that if you do a EX special, you heal a little bit, and then I had Caesar on the team. So, like, I was watching my health go down, but not too bad.
Yeah. No, it would happen, and...
and you were just draining. You're out, man. You were in full
There were one or two times
mode
where I stumbled into the little rest zone. All of them were bleeding entirely from self-inflicted wounds. No monster touched them, but they were still just dying.
This dang crown of thorns draining my life. I like it. I like the addition of the gear mechanic. I like that there is a currency that carries over between runs that will let you unlock new gear and effects. It adds a whole new table of rewards to get. I don't know about you, but like on the old Hollow Zero, like I already gotten to level 60 on that board, so I had all the stuff for finishing that.
Yeah, I was completely done with that Hollow Zero.
So it does take a little bit longer than a blitz mode. Like if I was really if both of them were maxed out, if I'd done all of the Shadows Lost board and all of the old school Hollow Zero board, and I was just like, I need to get this done for the day. Blitz mode Hollow Zero, even with like 9 modifiers, is going to be faster.
Yes.
Because there's, to your point, way less thinking. It's just like run through it, pick the ones that say onslaught, move on with my life. But in terms of like a game mode that I want to play, I really like having this like branching paths, equipment based, choice based.
Yeah, I'll take
game mode
the extra 20 minutes a week or something to play through this mode. It also, in addition to the board, it comes with a completely new slew of collections through Ray.
Yeah.
So
yes, new collections, new challenges.
Yeah, so there's a lot of replayability, a lot of reason to revisit it. So we'll see how long, maybe it lasts for 3 months like Withered Domain, or we'll see, or maybe they start doing revamps to both of them. So the next revamp is a revamp to Withered Domain and brings a reason for you to go back to that one being your primary. And then, because by that time you should probably be close to or about as done as you want to be with Shadows Lost.
Yeah, I'm curious. Like, I wonder how many more things they're going to keep adding as like these brand new in-game game modes before it becomes completely inaccessible to a new player.
Yeah, whether they keep...
If you were brand new and you go to the Outpost, there's a lot there. You're going, I don't even know what I'm supposed to be doing with this. Like, what currency is this? What am I clearing? What am I supposed to do? There's already a lot. So if they keep adding more instead of like revamping things, at some point it becomes unwieldy.
Yeah. It becomes something that you can only play if you've grown with it.
Exactly. And I've had this feeling. I tried playing Hoyo's first major game, but second like actual game of Honkai Impact 3rd. But I started trying to play Honkai Impact 3rd when Genshin was about to come out. So it had already been running for a while. And just like the onslaught of things that were available and all these different currencies and all of these different narratives and mechanics, and it's not just a game mode, there's also a story attached to it, is so completely overwhelming that I just put it back down again. Like I didn't have the mental capacity to learn all of those things. And so like, if you're already playing ZZZ, this is not really a problem. We're just going to keep celebrating there are new things coming out. But I do wonder when they'll do this shift from we're adding new game modes to we're refining previous game modes, or we're tweaking, or we're just like letting those live as they are, and we're adding other things to the game in other places. It's this really delicate balance because they can't just go, hey, it's patch 2.3 and there's nothing new. Here's a character. Thanks for playing. See you later. Like they'll add new things. I don't know. I like having the choice, but I can also see how this creep could get overwhelming if you're also just trying to do everything every week. I do like that Shadows Lost and Hollow Zero share the same weeklies. so I don't have to do both.
Yes, that was nice when I noticed that you pick one, you do it, and you're done for your weekly, and then you can kind of make your decision on what else you want to do.
For sure. We've had the chance to play with it now. How are you feeling? How are you sitting on individual ults?
I love it. It just feels like a better thing.
It does.
It does not feel like if they made any changes to the rate of accumulation of decibels, I don't notice it. It's not something where you go like, oh, okay, I used to be able to do like 2 to 3 per fight, and now I'm doing 1 per character. It kind of just, if they maybe bumped it up by 20%, it's just small enough that it's not noticeable. And it's nice being able to use everyone's instead of having to just pick one person to do ultimates.
I have numbers for that, actually, Brian.
I don't care about numbers, only feels.
By default, all agents have gained 50% of the decibels that their teammates earn, except for Juyuan, Korin, Billy, Bernice, and Harumasa, who get 52.5% of the decibels their teammates earn. It is not a major difference, but there is a slight increase for your characters who are more ult heavy, like Juyuan or Bernice.
Interesting.
From when their teammates generate. Otherwise, it is a flat half of what somebody else earns, they get. That was what was mined, I believe. I saved it so we could bring it up
in
the podcast.
Having been told that, it does feel probably about right, where I've noticed that whoever you're maining rips them off faster. Probably in my Miyabi Yanagi team, it's probably Miyabi gets 2, Yanagi somewhere around 1.5, and then Rina's at like 1.
I imagine that you've not been spending a lot of time playing with Juyuan since Miyabi came out.
No.
I bet you would notice it in your Juyuan team because of how much she likes having her ult. Yeah. I bet you'd probably be like, hey, you know what? She actually does have it more than I thought she would.
I could see that.
But yeah, I think I really like the ult changes. There are a couple of characters. My big example would be Seth, where using an ult feels like a DPS loss versus a DPS gain. Because Seth's ult is just, as long as, if I remember correctly, it just does damage. But there's no way Seth is going to do as much damage as anybody else in his team. So like for him, there have been a couple times where I've been playing with him on my team and I'll accidentally use his ult. And I kind of was like, I should have just like switched out and not use it instead. But that is a exception, not the rule. And pretty much otherwise, it just always feels good to have ults available. And they're coming up more frequently. I guess not more frequently, but like I'm using them a lot more.
Oh, yeah, because you're having access to 3 of them in the same time you normally would have 1.
And I'm not sitting on it. Like I'm like, oh, I have it. Let's use it.
Yeah, and it's just fun to use them because they're cool animations. Like I like the Rena one where she's a crazy electric puppeteer.
For sure. I like, and it also like for a character like Caesar, which I believe when Caesar uses her ult, it also applies the shield to everybody.
It does. I've noticed that when I use it.
Yes, that's a good like. Oh crap! I just lost my whole shield, and she has no special. Let me pop this.
Which happened more than a couple times in Deadly Assault, where I sat there, and especially the first round, I said, I can tank it. I can tank it when I do the Notorious Hunt, and then he wipes out half of it in one swing.
Yep.
I'm like, oh no.
You're like, uh-oh. Ult. It was a good change, and there was some trepidation at first, but I think it's a really good change to bring in. And I love your point that like it just lets us see more of these characters doing things. Let's talk a little bit about 1.4's story. This is a big old flashing spoiler alert if you've not finished 1.4.
Do we want to talk about the story now or dedicate a whole episode? Because a lot happens.
You know what? I like that idea more. We should do kind of a 1.4 lore recap episode.
So
maybe next episode.
Yeah, like go over the general story up to 1.4, and then because there's a lot that happened in 1.4 and a lot of implications going forward that I want to talk about. And I don't want to do like a quick 20 minute recap of it and then lose my train of thought.
I agree. You're right. I rescind my spoiler alert, but only a little bit, because I do want to talk that, like, we do have a little bit more teased to us. But 1.4, I will say here at this juncture, it felt like a rewarding resolution to what's been set up so far.
Yes. If nothing else, it gives me encouragement that going forward, the story will be worthwhile and not something that just takes up your time as you're in between the new mechanics that they're introducing. Like, sometimes you play games, and especially gacha games, where you can tell they're just throwing story in there, and it's not doing a whole lot for you, and you kind of just want to skip through it so you can get back to the gameplay.
Right. Yeah. Well, I think, like, one of the things that we've talked about previously when we talked about Tour de Inferno is that the writing team for ZZZ, they want to tell you what they want to tell you, and then they want to just get out again, right? It is like, boom, here you go. Okay, see you later. And so when I was at least very shocked that they're like, hey, the 4th patch of the game is coming out, and that's the end of the first narrative arc. I'm going, that was really quick. Other games I've played would have at least taken 2 years to get to the end of their first arc, or maybe they still haven't, and we're on year 6.
That one feels pointed.
Maybe this guy's... I really like that. I almost said like a huge spoiler to a different game.
No, as soon as you said that first word, I knew exactly what you were going to say.
It is in line with their whole core design philosophy that everything in ZZZ, beginning to end, is snappy, it's flashy, and then it moves on. And so,
like we've said before, it respects your time.
It does. I will say, if like the one slight bummer, this is not a spoiler, just like a heads up if you haven't done it yet. Voice actors for Lycone, Coleta, and one other character were still caught up in the voice actor strikes that were taking place when they were doing most of the recording for the 1.4 story. And so those characters' voice lines are not in the game. And so it was a little bit jarring.
That explains it, because I was like, what is wrong with it? Because I noticed, like,
like, what happened?
They would be missing, and then...
Yeah. Genshin's been dealing with this a lot, because there's some studios. So, like, I don't know enough to talk about it to a deep extent, but there were a couple of studios that, for one reason or another, were not able to record with any of the HoYoverse teams for these live service games. And so if you really want, like I'm looking forward to when those lines are in the game, I'm just going to replay those parts of the story. Because Lycone's voice actor does a really good job.
I love Coleta's
voicing Lycone. And Coleta's voice actor is amazing.
It is perfect for that character.
So you don't lose out on the narrative, but it is a little bit jarring when you've got everyone being like saying all these cool things and it's really hypey, and then it's just like silence.
Yeah, it's dead silence, because they even they fade away the music and everything, because these people are saying these big dramatic, and it's just silence.
They duck the audio for you to read. So just if you were curious about why that's happening, it is short term. In some of the other Hoyo games, there was a huge deficit, and then, like, a lot of the characters that were out have started to come back in. So I want to say all of the VA strikes have been resolved at this point, but game dev cycles are wild. So it will be resolved at some point. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. I still have questions. there were things that, like, I was going like, is this lore I forgot, or is this new lore?
Yeah, I remember a couple points where I couldn't tell if it was something that they maybe referenced once early on and it's just been a while, or if it just hadn't been fully introduced yet.
Do I know this, or am I supposed to know this and I forgot it? But I think if we'll keep dancing around it. We'll next episode. Yeah, if this comes out when you're listening to it 2 weeks later, our next episode will be on the 9th of
the
January.
new year.
I'm going to go ahead and do a quick plug real quick. The 9th, and this is and for you as well, Brian. The 9th of January will be day number 5 of AGDQ 2025. So if you have not, or you're at all interested in speedrunning or charity or speedrunning for charity, look up Awesome Games Done Quick.
Or Speed Charity for running.
Or Speed Charity for running, or Awesome Charity for Games Done Deadly Hollows Premonition.
Lost Shadows ults for everybody. Now I'm just reading off our show notes.
That it will be out on the 9th, but yeah, definitely check it out. Brian and I are not affiliated whatsoever with Games Done Quick.
Or anything for that matter.
Or really anything. But check out Games Done Quick. It's for a good cause and it's really cool. But let's try to do a lore episode on the 9th, man. That sounds like a lot of fun. We'll divvy it up a little bit. We'll do some research.
That sounds like production value.
That sounds like nerd work.
We don't do production value around here. We just wing it.
Eric last minute edits it and we put it out the door.
Huzzah!
This episode's coming out the day after Christmas, which I think also the day for Christmas Day is also the first day of Hanukkah this year.
Boxing Day.
So it's Boxing Day. Happy holidays to everybody who's listening. Good luck to all Miyabi wanters. Congratulations to all Miyabi havers. And shame on you, all Miyabi deniers, because man, is she fun. I don't know how to end the episode.
That sounded vaguely threatening.
Brian, please help me in the episode. I don't know how to do it.
See you all later.
Bye.
Bye.